Imagine walking into a room and realizing that, before you even say a single word, someone may have already decided what kind of person you are: confident, nervous, intelligent, boring, trustworthy, or even arrogant. And the scary part is, you may have no idea that it's happening. Your face, your posture, your eye contact, the way you walk, and even the first few words you say can influence how people see you within seconds. But is it really true that people judge you in just 7 seconds? And what exactly are they looking at? Because once you understand what the human brain notices first, you'll never look at a first meeting the same way again. This is Human Hour, and today, we're uncovering the psychology behind the first 7 seconds that can shape someone's entire impression of you. Human behavior: people judge you in the first 7 seconds. Imagine this: you walk into a room, you have not said anything, you have not explained who you are, you have not told anyone about your achievements, your struggles, your personality, or your intentions, and yet someone has already formed an opinion about you, maybe. They think you are confident, maybe. They think you are nervous, maybe. They think you are intelligent, maybe. They think you are unfriendly, and the strange part, you may have absolutely no idea that it happened. At this is one of the most fascinating things about human behavior. People do not always wait to know you before they start judging your posture or facial expression, your eye contact, the way you walk, the way you enter a room. Even the amount of time you take before speaking can influence how people perceive you, and sometimes this happens within seconds. That is why you may hear the idea that people judge you within the first 7 seconds. But here is the important part: there is not a magical 7-second timer inside the human brain. First impressions can happen incredibly quickly, and they can keep changing as someone learns more about you. So, why does the human brain make these rapid judgments, and more importantly, what is it actually looking for? Because once you understand this process, you may start seeing your everyday interactions completely differently. This is Human Hour, and today we are going inside one of the most powerful mechanisms of human behavior. People judge you almost immediately after meeting you. Part 1. The brain does not like uncertainty. Think about the last time you met someone new. Maybe it was a coworker, a stranger, a teacher, a potential employer, somebody at a party. Before they even finished introducing themselves, you probably had some kind of feeling about them. You may have thought they seem confident, they seem nervous, they seem serious, they seem friendly, or even, I do not trust this person. But where did that feeling come from? The answer begins with something very basic. The human brain hates uncertainty, and your brain does not know something, it tries to predict it. And other people are one of the biggest sources of uncertainty in our environment. You do not immediately know someone's intentions. You do not know whether they are trustworthy. You do not know whether they are friendly or hostile. You do not know whether they respect you. I do not know whether they are confident or insecure. So your brain starts collecting clues. It watches it, listens it, compares it, predicts. This can happen automatically before you are even consciously aware of it. Your brain is essentially asking, what kind of person is standing in front of me? And because making a completely accurate judgment takes time, brain often starts with a shortcut. Part 2. Your face speaks before you do. Imagine 2 people walking into a room. First person enters with their head slightly down, shoulders tense, and a serious expression. Second person walks in relaxed, looks around the room, and briefly meets people's eyes neither. Person has spoken, but the people watching them may already perceive them differently. Hiesius. Humans are highly sensitive to facial expressions and body language. Or face can communicate emotional information. Before you say a single word, a slight smile can signal friendliness. A tense jaw can suggest stress. Raised eyebrows can communicate surprise or interest. Avoiding eye contact may be read as nervousness, discomfort, or disinterested. Here is where things get interesting. These signals are not always accurate. Simeon might avoid eye contact because they are shy. Another person might avoid eye contact because they are tired. Simeon might have a serious expression because they are thinking about something completely unrelated to yet. Observers still create an interpretation. That is the key. People do not necessarily see reality. They see reality, and then their brain interprets it. That interpretation becomes the beginning of an impression. Part 3. The power of body language. Before you say anything, your body may already be communicating. Think about posture. Simeon standing upright with relaxed shoulders may appear confident. Simeon constantly looking at the floor may appear uncertain. Simeon taking up very little space may appear uncomfortable. Sozin moving calmly may appear more composite. Again, these are not perfect rules, but humans naturally use visible behavior as information. Imagine you are meeting someone for a job interview. The person walks in. Sit down. Immediately start looking at their phone. Barely look at their hands. Constantly move. Their posture is tense. May start making assumptions. You might think they are distracted. Are nervous. Do not carry. Or maybe they are not prepared, but you do not actually know you are interpreting signals. And this is why first impressions can be powerful but also dangerous. The brain is incredibly fast, but fast does not always mean accurate. Part 4. The halo effect. Now we come to one of the most fascinating psychological effects behind first impressions. It is called the halo effect. Basic idea is simple. When we notice one positive quality in someone, we may unconsciously assume they have other positive qualities too. For example, imagine someone looks polished, confident, and well-dressed. You may automatically assume they are competent. You may assume they are intelligent. You may assume they are successful, but none of those things are guaranteed by appearance. If someone appears nervous or awkward, you might unconsciously assume they are less capable, even though nervousness says very little about someone's actual intelligence or character. This is one reason first impressions can be so influential. Observation can affect the way we interpret everything that comes afterward. If you initially decide this person is confident, and later, when they speak confidently, you may think, I knew it. But if they make a mistake, you may simply think, everyone makes mistakes. Same behavior can receive a different interpretation depending on the impression that came first. Part 5. Why first impressions are so sticky. Here is something you may have experienced yourself. You meet someone, you do not like them. You do not even know exactly why. Then over the next few weeks, you notice things about them. Interrupt someone. Arrive late. They disagree with you, and suddenly your brain says, that is exactly what I expected. But what if you had started with a positive impression? You might interpret the same behavior differently. This is related to a tendency called confirmation bias. Since we have an initial belief, we often pay more attention to information that supports it. That does not mean we are consciously trying to be unfair. It can happen automatically. Brain likes consistency if it has already created a story about someone. Information that fits the story feels easier to accept than information that contradicts the story may require more mental effort. This is one reason first impressions can become self-reinforcing. Part 6. The 7-second myth. Now let us address the title. 7 seconds. The truth is there is no universal psychological rule saying that after exactly 7 seconds, your brain has decided everything about semi-enamant. Perception does not work like a stopwatch. Different studies have found that people can form impressions extremely rapidly, sometimes within fractions of a second, depending on what they are evaluating. Or impressions take longer and can change as people interact. So why is 7 seconds so popular? Because it represents a simple idea: people can begin forming impressions almost immediately. First few seconds matter, but they do not necessarily determine your entire relationship with someone. In this distinction is important, because if you believe your personality is permanently decided within 7 seconds, you may become obsessed with controlling every movement, every word, and every expression. That is not the goal. The goal is not to become fake. The goal is to understand how perception works. Part 7. Your voice changes perception. Here is something people often forget. First impressions are not only visual. Your voice matters too. Imagine someone saying, "Nice to meet you." Words are exactly the same, but the delivery can completely change the impression. Someone speaks too quickly. Another person speaks calmly. Someone speaks so quietly that others struggle to hear. Another person speaks clearly. Words are identical. Perception is not. Tone, rhythm, volume, pauses, and confidence can all influence how communication is received, and this is why speaking slowly does not necessarily mean speaking weakly. Sometimes taking a brief pause before answering can make you appear more thoughtful and composite, not because you are trying to manipulate people, but because you are giving yourself time to communicate intentionally. Part 8. Why confidence is so noticeable. Confidence is one of the qualities people often try to detect immediately. Here is the interesting part. Confidence is not necessarily loudness. It is not dominating every conversation. It is not talking constantly, and it is definitely not pretending to know everything. Real confidence can look surprisingly calm. Simeon, who is comfortable with silence, is Somi, who does not constantly seek approval. Somi, who can admit, "I do not know." Simeon, who listens without desperately waiting for their turn to speak. Simeon, who does not need to prove themselves every 5 seconds. That is why sometimes the quietest person in the room can appear more confident than the loudest bass. Confidence is not always about how much space you take. Sometimes it is about how comfortable you are occupying your own space. Part 9. Why people judge you based on themselves. Here is where human behavior becomes even more complicated. When people judge you, they are not looking at you through a completely neutral camera. They are looking through their own experience, their memories, their expectation, fears, their values, their culture, their previous relationship, their personal preferences. Two people can meet the exact same person and form completely different impressions. In person might see someone quiet and think very mature. Another might think they are unfriendly. One person might see confidence and think impressive. Another might think arrogant. So sometimes a judgment tells you something about the person being judged, but it can also tell you something about the person doing the judging. That is an important distinction. It means first impression of you is not necessarily the truth about you. It is their interpretation of the information they have. Part 10. Appearance and the brain. Let us talk about appearance. Humans naturally notice visual Information clothing expressions postal presentation people may use these details to make predictions about personality, status, professionalism, or social identity. But again, prediction is not proofs me on wearing expensive clothing is not automatically successful. Me wearing simple clothing is not automatically unsuccessful. Some who looks serious is not necessarily angry. Someone who looks nervous is not necessarily weaken. Someone who looks confident is not necessarily competent. This is why judging people too quickly can create mistakes. Your brain is trying to solve a problem quickly. Who is this person? But the information available in the first few seconds is extremely limited. You are trying to understand an entire human being from a tiny sample of behavior. Part 11. Why your first impression of someone can be wrong. Think about someone you have known for years. Did you understand their entire personality the first time you met them? Probably not. Maybe you initially thought they were arrogant and later discovered they were simply shy. Maybe you thought someone was extremely confident and later discovered they were actually insecure. Maybe you thought someone was boring and later discovered they had an incredible sense of humor. Time gives people something first impressions do not have. Context and context changes interpretation. A single action tells you very little. A pattern tells you much more. That is why mature judgment does not mean never judge anyone. It is almost impossible. Instead, mature judgment means do not confuse your first impression with the complete truth. Part 12. How to make a stronger first impression. So, what can you actually do with this information? First, do not try to become someone you are not. People can often sense forced behavior. Instead, focus on simple things you can control but present. Look at the person when they are speaking. Keep your posture relaxed. Speak clearly. Listendo, not constantly check your phoneto. Not rush every sentence. And most importantly, stop trying so hard to impress people when you are obsessed with how you are being perceived. Your behavior can become unnatural. Instead of thinking, do they like me? Thinking, how can I make this interaction comfortable and genuine? Effort. Small mental shift can change everything. Part 13. The most powerful first impression. Here is something that might surprise you. The strongest first impression is not always, wow, this person is impressive. It is simply, I feel comfortable around this person. Think about the people you naturally enjoy talking to. They may not be the smartest people you have ever met. They may not be the loudest. They may not have the most impressive clothes, but they make you feel hard. Listen. Do not constantly compete. Do not make every conversation about themselves. Give you space to be yourself, and that is powerful. But human beings do not just evaluate information, evaluate how interactions make us feel. Part 14. The person who does not need approval. Fear is another behavior people often notice. Need for approval. Someone constantly checking whether everyone agrees with them. Laugh whenever someone else laughs. They change their opinion immediately. Apologize for everything. Constantly ask, was that okay though? You think I am doing this right though? You like if this can communicate uncertainty. No. Compare that with someone who can calmly say, I see your point, but I disagree. I'm not sure here. I made a mistake here. Simply, that is okay. They do not need everyone to approve of every action. That does not mean they do not care about people. It means their entire sense of self is not dependent on immediate approval. And ironically, being less desperate to impress people can make you more impressive. At 15. The biggest mistake people make. The biggest mistake is thinking, I need to control what everyone thinks about me. You cannot. No matter how kind you are, someone will misunderstand you. No matter how confident you are, Someone may think you are arrogant no matter how quiet you are. Someone may think you are shy no matter how successful you become. Someone may still criticize you. You do not control people's interpretation. Control your behavior, and that is where your energy should go. Do not spend your life trying to manage every opinion. Build a character you are comfortable standing behind. Best eventually, the first impression becomes less important. Repeated behavior takes over. Part 16. First impression versus real character. Imagine meeting someone for 10 seconds. You know almost nothing. No, imagine spending 10 months with them. You see how they behave when they are stressed, how they treat people who cannot help them, how they behave when nobody is watching, how they react when they lose, how they react when someone else succeeds. Show they treat their family, how they respond to criticism. Oh, they behave when they make mistakes. That is where character becomes visibly. First impression is a snapshot. Your actor is the entire movie, and a snapshot should never be confused with the movie final. So, why do people judge you so quickly? Because the human brain is constantly trying to understand the world. It looks for patterns, it searches for signals, it makes predictions, and when it meets a new person, it does not have the luxury of knowing their entire story. So, it starts with what it can see, or face, your posture, your voice, your behavior, your appearance, your energy. Within seconds, an impression can begin forming. But here is the most important lesson. Your first impression is not your identity, and someone else's first impression of you is not necessarily the truth. You are far more complicated than a facial expression, far more complicated than your clothes, far more complicated than the way you walked into a room, and far more complicated than 7 seconds. So, the next time you meet someone new, do not obsess over being impressive. Present, listens clearly, stay relaxed, said treat people with respect, and let your behavior over time tell the bigger story. Because anyone can create a first impression, but character is revealed through repetition, and eventually people stop judging the moment they met you. Start judging the pattern of who you became. If this is human hour, if this video changed the way you think about human behavior, subscribe to Human Horror, because the more you understand the human mind, more you understand the people around you, and perhaps the more you understand yourself. See you in the next episode. So the next time you meet someone, remember this: their first impression of you is only a snapshot, not your entire story. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to impress everyone. And you don't need to control what every person thinks about you. Be calm. Be present. Listen. Speak with purpose. And most importantly, let your actions over time reveal who you really are. Because people may judge you in seconds, but character takes much longer to reveal. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do isn't changing how people see you. It's becoming someone you're proud to be, even when nobody is watching. If you enjoyed this exploration into human behavior, subscribe to Human Hour, because the more you understand the human mind, the more you understand other people, and ultimately, the more you understand yourself.